When millionaire mom Victoria Langley came home early from a board meeting, the last thing she expected was to hear her 9-year-old autistic son, Ethan, speaking fluent French in the living room. She froze in the doorway, not believing her ears. Ethan, who had struggled with communication since he was a toddler, was laughing, actually laughing, while confidently repeating phrases in French, then Spanish, and then something that sounded like Japanese. Sitting beside him on the floor was their housekeeper, Grace, wearing her usual gray and white uniform and bright yellow gloves, still holding a sponge in one hand and a set of flashcards in the other. Victoria quietly stepped closer, careful not to interrupt. She had hired Grace to clean, maybe help with small tasks around the house, but this was something completely different. For most of his life, Ethan had been locked in his own world. Therapists, speech specialists, expensive private tutors, Victoria had spared no expense. She had tried everything, from holistic treatments to the best schools money could buy, but nothing had really connected with Ethan. He barely spoke, rarely made eye contact, and often withdrew during social interactions. So seeing him now, actively engaged, smiling, and effortlessly switching between languages, it was as if she was watching a different child. Once Ethan stepped out of the room to get his toy car, Victoria approached Grace, still stunned. What's going on here? Grace, clearly caught off guard, stood up nervously and removed her gloves. I hope it's okay. Ethan showed interest in the flashcards while I was cleaning one day. I started teaching him simple words. He picked them up so quickly, I didn't want to stop. Victoria stared at her, unsure whether to feel shocked or grateful. He's speaking 9 languages? Grace hesitated. Yes, ma'am. Well, at least bits of 9. He's strongest in French, Spanish, and Mandarin. But we've started on Japanese, German, Arabic, Russian, Italian, and Portuguese, too. I kept it fun, mixed it with games. He remembers everything. Victoria was silent, taking it all in. She had paid experts thousands of dollars and spent sleepless nights searching for answers. And here was Grace, someone she had hired to clean, making a breakthrough no one else had. Later that night, after Ethan had gone to bed, Victoria couldn't stop thinking about what she'd seen. She reviewed old videos of Ethan, comparing his expressionless face to the joyful, engaged little boy she'd witnessed earlier. It was clear something extraordinary had happened, and Grace was at the center of it. The next morning, Victoria invited Grace to sit down for coffee. Grace seemed unsure, almost embarrassed, but Victoria was quick to put her at ease. I owe you an apology, Victoria began. I underestimated you, and I owe you a thank you for seeing something in my son that no one else did. Grace smiled gently. I didn't do anything special. I just saw a boy who wanted to learn and didn't know how to ask. It turned out Grace had a background in linguistics. She had studied languages in college but had to drop out to support her family. Becoming a housekeeper wasn't her plan, but it paid the bills. She never imagined she'd use her language skills again until Ethan. From that day on, everything changed. Victoria offered Grace a new position, Ethan's private language mentor. She even helped her re-enroll in school to finish her degree. Ethan began thriving in ways no one expected. His vocabulary exploded, not just in foreign languages, but in English too. He became more expressive, more social, more confident. Victoria also noticed a change in herself. For years, she had been trying to manage everything with control: money, appointments, deadlines. But Grace taught her something different. Real connection comes from listening, from patience, and from seeing people for who they are, not what's on their resume. The story of Grace and Ethan soon spread beyond their home. A local journalist heard about the unlikely bond and wrote a feature article. Not long after, a national morning show invited them on to share their story. They inspired thousands of parents who were struggling with similar challenges. But for Victoria, the real reward wasn't the recognition. It was hearing her son say, "I love you," for the first time in Mandarin of all languages. She laughed and cried at the same time, because in that moment, it didn't matter which language he used. It mattered that he was finally speaking, and all it took was someone who believed he could.